morning, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful, not yet 1,000 degrees day in the morning. This is the heat wave sessions where we get up at 6 to come out here when it's only 80.
Yeah,
it's not 120. But how exciting! This is the Corvette Convertible 3LT Z51. This is pretty much the most expensive Corvette you can buy right now.
All the whistles, right?
This has everything, okay? It's the 2021 C8 Stingray Convertible 3LT package, which means all the luxury stuff. It's got the CarPlay, the heated and cooled seats, all the techie stuff through your screen, all the luxury features, the nice upgraded seats, contrast stitching. Actually, that's extra. The Bose stereo, all that stuff, right? That's the luxury.
Right.
Triple luxury, 3LT. Then you've got Z51 package. That's big brakes, ELSD, the PS4S tires instead of the PS all-season run-flat tires. And what does that say? Sport. Oh, boy. Sport something. It says...
But it's basically like one of the best value packages in the industry. If you're getting one of these, get the Z51 package.
And then on top of that, you got Mag Ride, which is not standard. It's optional. $1,800, well worth it, as we will see. You then have nose lift. You then have the convertible itself, power-retractable hardtop versus the manual removable hardtop of the, quote, coupe. Right? Let's see, what else do we hear? The basics, 0 to 60, this is according to Car and Driver with their 1-foot rollout. 0 to 60, 2.8, quarter mile, 11.2 at 122.
Amazing.
Yep. Front and rear trunks, you can do 3 carry-ons or 2 golf bags plus 1 carry-on. The touchscreen infotainment 3 Plus has obviously Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay, 4G LTE, wireless charging, Android Auto, and I love this. My iPhone is charging right back here right now in its pocket. The wireless charger is a pocket that actually holds your phone in tight.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Wireless charging never works for me.
Because if the phone moves around, right, so it holds the phone in place there and it wireless CarPlays while that's going on.
Much more convenient.
That's great. You got a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty and all the other goodness we can talk about while driving. You have many modes: sport, tour, track,
wet,
right? Wet, and then there's the My mode, which is a sort of individual mode. It doesn't let you program everything, but it lets you program steering, suspension, brakes, and exhaust.
So you get to program more than the Mustang.
More than the Mustang, not as much as an AMG.
Good on right.
All right, and here we go. Hey folks, today's video is brought to you by the kind folks at Where Else Sheath, and you know what that means. I get to spend 60 seconds talking about my balls. You're in luck, folks. Guys, the planet is getting hotter. Have you read the studies? Are you on Twitter? It's record heat waves everywhere. It's going crazy. Listen, Jeff Bezos has a rocket to escape. Do you have a rocket to escape? You don't. You can't afford a rocket to escape this heat wave. But what can you do? Keep your balls cool, folks. Sheath has 2 new products we want to talk about. We got number 1, bamboo. I am 100% bamboo. I wear bamboo shirts. I sleep in bamboo sheets. Bamboo is low-key the most G fabric that is out there. Don't want to feel like bamboo? Fine. Mesh. Like mesh shorts, but on your balls. I cannot explain how brilliant this is. This feels delightful, and I'm ordering 10 more for Pilates. Like all Sheath products, it's got the ball pouch. The ball pouch is good for some folks. Other people, they think the ball pouch is not for them. You don't have to use the ball pouch. The technical fabrics are still delightful. Escape the heat, or at least help your balls escape the heat. Why? Because you don't have a rocket. Matter of fact, I put my money and my balls where my mouth is, rocking my sheaths as we do this. Hit that link in the description, use the code, get yourself a special price to keep your balls extra cool this summer with Sheath. The very in-tune drivers, right? People like you and I, very racing drivers we talk to, people with a lot of experience. We say that you can feel what a car is really about, and within like 100 feet. And I found that to be true. You get in it, you move through the parking lot, and you already understand 80% of the car, right?
Yeah, well, you're going to instantly understand dimensions, seating position, visibility, steering speed, the rack speed, like all that stuff can happen really quick.
And more than that, the engagement of the gearbox. So obviously for the C8, we know by now there's no more manual, there's no more traditional automatic. Instead, there's the Tremec 8-speed dual clutch transaxle, which the very second you get in a C8 and move it around a parking lot, you go, oh, this is different. The way it engages the gears, the way it goes from 0 to 1, the way, if you can feel it shift up, that there is 0 change in torque as the gear changes.
Yeah, that was
You do
immediate.
not feel the gear change, whether it's up or down. And you almost, although one of the virtues of Porsche's PDK is its durability, but you almost say to yourself, Tremec has built a PDK.
Yeah, and we don't know how durable this will be, but Tremec is known for making really good durable transmissions.
Right. It's not like Tremec makes junk. They make really good stuff.
Right.
So now we're on smooth pavement, and we'll go from my mode, which has the soft shocks, to track, where the mag ride stiffens up.
It changes the gauge display.
Yep, you go to your like race car display. Because it's a naturally aspirated engine, not much change to the powertrain. Throttle response a little sharper, but it's not like it unlocks more power. The Redline is only 6,600 RPM, which for a mid-engine paddle-shifted car, it feels awful low. It feels like there should be another
1,000.
Another 1,000 to 1,500, a crazy when you get to the top, And so it kind of ends right when you want it to keep going.
Well, it makes I think max power is at 6,450.
Yes.
It's like right before, so you do have to rev it out to get the power, and then peak torque is at 5,100. So you get a nice meaty torque band. I mean, it's a 6.2. It's an LS,
Yeah. It's LT.
LT architecture, whatever. But you want the exotic small displacement rev out engine.
Right.
But we got big pistons here. They can't move as fast.
Well, that's because we've now got the chassis where it needs to be. Car and Driver lightning lap, C8 Stingray versus C7 Stingray. Comparably equipped, identical power to weight ratios. Okay, 1 year to the next year, 4.6 seconds. 4.6 seconds is what putting the, by the way, turning radius, very good.
Very good.
4.6 seconds a lap at VIR is what moving the engine to the middle and going with a dual clutch will do.
Wow.
And that's VIR, that's not the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
It's a big track,
That's
but it's
5 second difference.
So, someone like me can say, okay, well, the Redline is a little low. But the counterpoint to that is that the power band is so wide and so linear, it's incredibly forgiving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what these engines have been good at for so long. And I think what's an interesting thing that's happening is everything around us is telling you this is an exotic car.
Right.
Right? So your brain goes, well, exotic car, it must rev to 9.
Right.
That's what they do. And it's like, well, asterisk, it's not an exotic. It's like, take the blindfold off, Mr. Farah. It's actually a Corvette.
Right.
It's this Pepsi challenge thing.
Back in the day, Corvette democratized that European GT car sporting performance, right?
Yeah.
Now this car is really democratizing that mid-engine exotic car performance. It is so obvious that they benchmarked the 458 Ferrari. It's so obvious.
Yeah,
the tuning of the chassis and the suspension is so similar to the 458. The steering is a little heavier here than the 458, but it's so obvious that that's what they were going for. And frankly, other than the revs, they did it.
Well, this is about the exact same length as the F8.
Right.
But this has a 4-inch longer wheelbase. So what you're saying is probably true. They just dissected, the best Ferraris, and they're like, all right, how do we do this for a fifth the price? Because the value of this car is ridiculous.
Right. And there's I don't necessarily agree with every decision that GM made with this car, but almost all of the ones I don't agree with, I still find to be incredibly defensible. I don't like the square steering wheel, but it surrounds the gauge cluster appropriately, and this interior is so angular that I bet if you put a round one here, it might look kind of weird, actually. And I don't think the rear end of this car looks particularly strong, but they did it that way so that it could have a rear trunk, which, having now driven the car for 6 days, the rear trunk is so clutch that I agree with that trade-off. I actually do. So I'm going to raise the nose. Nose lift is on air, and it works very quickly. You can have the wheels turned. You can have it in different modes, and it
usable.
works.
The whole car.
Very, very
Super usable.
Totally 100% daily drivable. Daily drivable in traffic, daily drivable parking at the grocery store, daily drivable running errands, daily drivable filling the car with groceries, sitting in the commute, going to the mountains, driving down the freeway. You drive, and then I'll keep talking. You know, it's a huge difference, and then I'll let you talk. Going from the GT3 Touring the other day, straight back to this. GT3 Touring is, you will feel the road, everything. You feel everything all the time. I will assault your senses because I am a race car. This car, you're good. This car truly gives you the option to feel or to glide.
Yeah, that's what's so magical about it. That's what's great about MagRide, but the programming in this seems to be the next evolution of it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Oh, you want to launch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No drama. Wow.
No drama.
I mean, no wheel spin, and it's just comfortable, and it just goes. That's
and a 3 second 0 to 60 with rear wheel drive and no power adders.
Dude, it runs 11s.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
Yeah.
What the hell? For 64 grand for the base one.
Yeah.
You're running 11-second quarter miles. And it sounds very good. It sounds very good. I think this one has they changed the exhaust, right, from the first year?
Z51, you get sport exhaust, which is dual mode, good for 5 horsepower.
Yeah, that's why it makes 495, not 490.
I have it in all my modes. I leave it open. And actually, I was driving this the other day, and I was like, you know, I don't even know if I would get an aftermarket exhaust. I think I'd probably just leave it.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And when it was idling, when we were doing the beauty shots, you could hear it fine, but it wasn't obnoxious.
I mean, it sounds similar to last year's car or the Corvette, the Camaro. It sounds good.
Exactly.
And
it is so comfortable. The
Yeah.
seats are shaped perfectly. They have the right foam. They support you. Like, this is such a dreamy experience as far as comfort goes, to just cruise around. I mean, this is one of the best GT cars I've sat in. Yeah, it's easy at everything. The visibility is great. This is kind of what I thought the NSX would be like when I first sat in the NSX. I was like, ooh, nice seats.
I'd rather drive this than the NSX every day. Even if they cost the same, I'd rather drive this than the NSX every day. This is more comfortable, more exciting, and more more sensory.
We'll finish over here.
More sensory, even though the NSX is quicker.
Yeah, way more sensory.
You know what I'm not excited for? The hybrid version of this.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it'll have like 1,000 horsepower and yeehaw, but like, I don't care. I'm excited for the Z06 that revs to 9.
That'll be insane.
That's going to be the jam right there.
This is so good at being a car. Like sports car, Grand Tour car, daily driver car. It's really impressive. I get what you're saying about the square wheel.
Oh, I don't like it. I just think it's defensible is all.
Yeah.
Nose up.
In here. Yeah.
Wow, that was pretty good for the nose up quickness and U-turn through the dirt. And speaking of U-turns through the dirt, 245 fronts, 305 rears. They're Pilot Sport 4S's in this. But when you've got a 245 front, what you don't have is tram lining.
No.
And so what's really good is, going back to the square steering wheel, you're good, clear,
on the right.
Clear, is that fortunately it's a pretty quick ratio.
Yes.
So you don't have to do a ton of hand over hand. That's the good news. And the better news is that despite it being a quick ratio, it's still very relaxed on center. So on the highway, it's not darting around. It's not a manic experience. You can one-hand it. You know, you can drive relaxed. And on this the section of the 405 that's what I call my coffee spilling section. When I'm holding my Yeti and I go try to take a sip.
Right.
And is that Yeti going to end up? Am I going to need the backup shirt that day? This car, two Yetis, right?
No
two
problem.
Yetis in here, running Piuma, really bumpy canyon road, and no spillage on the 405, no spillage on the highway, on the canyon. I mean, look at this. The way this chassis absorbs these bumps.
Yeah.
And the way it sticks the nose with a 245 front.
Super impressive.
Is awesome.
And the fact it's so quiet in here despite going over all these cracks. Because normally on this road, even if the car doesn't ride really, really well, we hear every little bump. And it's pretty tamped down.
Oh, and by the way, you're still in track.
So the thing with the square wheel, it's funny, is I just made that tight turn. You just reach up to the top, pull it over like rally car style, and you make the turn. But if you have to land in between that, or you know, if you can't let the wheel slip through your fingers if you slide this thing or whatever, you have to like hand over hand it.
Yeah, dude, but honestly, Tesla just hold my beard so fucking hard on steering wheels that every other steering wheel seems normal.
That's a whataboutism. I object. Whataboutism. You just whataboutism.
I did just whataboutism, but like, that's true. I whataboutism steering wheels. Square is not good. Round is good.
But to your point, square fits the design of the car.
Yes.
It does. Like the gauge cluster is a rectangular shape.
Yes.
You can see everything. The only real thing I don't like about this car is that all of these buttons are basically the same shape.
Yes.
So if I was driving this at night,
right.
I mean, you have to learn to read Braille basically,
So
and even then, it's a little challenging.
I mean, I agree with you. This row of buttons down this wall here is not a great bit of design. I don't like it as design. However, I've driven this car every day for a week now. The only buttons that you use from that seat are right here. Your temperature toggle, your heater, your cooler, sync, and auto. Everything else is what I would call an edge case. You might hit it once in a while. This is your passenger seat controls, your passenger temp, your full power, whether the AC compressor's on. I mean, I'm just saying, in your day-to-day using, it's really these top four buttons that are right in your periphery. These other ones, yes, I agree, not a great bit of design, but all these other lower half of the buttons, as a driver, you use it a tenth as much as you use the top four buttons here.
All right, that's fair.
So, disagree, but a defensible use of this space.
Yeah, I can't counter that.
And think of the alternative: touchscreen climate controls.
Right, those are worse.
And which it has. It has that available.
All right, so if you
but if that was your only option, that would suck.
You know what's nice is that this is an easy reach. A
Yes,
lot
it
of
is.
touchscreens lately, I feel like you have to stretch.
Yep.
This is right there.
Yep. It's really fighter plane, my first mid-engine car, F-14 Tomcat interior in here.
Yeah.
Whereas Porsche Cayman, by comparison, which we're driving next week, is much more subdued and confident in itself.
Right.
This is like, look at us, we made a thing.
Fits tight.
Having said that, the execution, in my opinion, is exceptional. The dynamics are exceptional. The chassis, ride and handling, and gearbox people brought their A-plus game. And
well, they've always been so good at chassis development.
Yeah.
Camaros, Corvettes, all of it. And this is what's great is that they had a new formula, which is mid-engine.
Yeah.
And they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. And so it's a fabulous product. Even the base car, I'll give this thing a 9.6 out of 10. Really, if you want to separate me from my money, the Z06 is going to be a very, very exciting product, and we're going to have to see what happens with that when it's available. But thank you to General Motors for letting us have a go. Thank you to you for watching. Last bit of consumer advice: never spec a white dash on a car ever. It reflects in the window and you can't see. It stinks. It's not a Corvette problem. It's an everybody problem. Be part of the solution. Don't order a white dash and make them drop it from the options catalog.
Yes.
Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.